People often don't think of time as an asset. They waste hundreds of hours on their phone or computer looking and watching mindless things that probably don't add impact or value to their lives. But if you put time into perspective of being finite, then perhaps you would use your time more wisely. As time goes on, you never get it back, so choose what and how you spend it with great intention. In a previous lesson, I talked about devices and how I use the system in day trading and in life. I briefly went over the S in devices, which is strength. If you recall, I described strength as our mind's armor and how we use it to persevere in static and dynamic situations. Now I want to talk about the E in devices, which is energy. This is the mind's ability to engage at its fullest while in high demand. As we go through all of our devices, we want to use our time to create meaningful and impactful changes to our mental state. It's crucial that we don't just simply talk about things existentially, rather that we use our time to develop our mind frame. I couldn't think of a better moment to speak about time in this regard, other than training our mind with exercises. We're going to start this lesson by first discussing the impact time has on us. You see, time is like a grandfather clock. It controls everything and the world around it. It's the keeper of everything we know from creation to modern day. No matter how many times I repeat this next phrase to you, especially as a day trader, I can never express to you the importance of time. Time is our most valuable asset, not only through the analysis of the mind, but also in technical analysis. In fact, in many of my mentoring sessions, time is discussed in great depth, and I attribute its understanding as the greatest technical tool there is. I could go on about time and the importance it has on technical analysis, but this series is about developing the mind. I'm going to say this to you again. Time is your most valuable asset. Period. I would ask you to stop this video and go write this 1,000 times in a book, repeat this to yourself 1,000 times in the mirror, and tell 1,000 strangers about how time is the most important thing for you to fully understand it in your life, and you still won't grasp the value it has. Now that you understand how important this subject is, and the gravity of that 4-letter word, we can begin. There is something I want you to imagine. You have a handful of tokens. In fact, you have 50 tokens exactly. You're in a market filled with various objects you want to buy, such as jewelry, food, clothing, cars, houses, and so forth. Coincidentally, you can afford every single object, but there's a catch. Everything costs 25 tokens, therefore you can only pick 2 of these fantastic things. For the most part, people will choose a house, a car, or maybe trips around the world. This is how I see time. I perceive it as a token we spend. And I can choose anything, but it's a limited commodity. You can pick 1 or 2 things, but not everything. Therefore, you must wisely choose on how to spend these tokens on the things that are important to you. Now that you understand the abstract nature of time, let's use a more relatable example. We're going to use the average age that somebody would start a career, a nice round number like 30. While this may be quite young for some people, you can use this as a scale to your age. By the age of 40, you would expect to have a flourishing career while starting to think about retirement at the age of 50. As we design our ultimate plan, each of these years has 12 months. So, by the age of 40, we would have gone through 120 months. And as every month passes, we draw closer to this landmark. I, for example, remember my fridge breaking recently and starting to watch a new TV series over the summer. Quickly time had passed me, and now thinking back, that was actually 3 months ago. So now I look at the time left I have in my ultimate design, and I'm down to 117 months from what felt like the blink of an eye. Like a grandfather clock, I'm creeping up to that elusive number, 99, as time escapes me. You have to realize we're not just talking about mental analysis and day trading anymore. We're talking about mortality and the time we have in our ultimate design. You see, time is not only your fastest disappearing resource, but also your most valuable as it controls and dictates everything you want to accomplish and do in your life. Imagine that your most precious resource in life is also the one we value the least. We spend our tokens watching movies or playing games, not realizing the impact that these tokens carry. Now we are going to go back to this token idea. Often in life, our imbalances come from an inappropriate spending of our time. One of the first things I do when I assess someone's mind frame is try to grasp how they spend their time. So let's start there. In a moment, we're going to go to our worksheet to do an exercise, but for now, I want you to visualize what we're about to discuss. There's 24 hours in a day, and like most people, you're sleeping for 8 of these hours. This leaves us with 16 hours left, and in this case, 16 1-hour tokens. Now, I don't want you to shortcut this and think you can get away with only 6 hours of sleep, or spend extra tokens to sleep for 12 hours. 8 hours is a good healthy amount and is perfect for this example. Let's immediately take away 2 more tokens, as I like to call this flex time. It's the small pieces that we lose all day when we're either waking up, hitting the snooze button for 5 more minutes, cleaning, or taking an extra long lunch. Everybody, no matter who you are, has 14 tokens. Now, I want you to go to your worksheet and think about how you spend each token on a normal day. Do you spend 8 on work, 2 on travel, 2 on food, 1 on studying, and 1 on family? Fill out your worksheet to best describe how you're spending your time. Now that you're back, I'm going to give you a few examples of balance across different social scenarios. In the first scenario, there's a man who hangs out with his friends way too much. He has an unhappy wife because he's drinking with his buddies all night and works to support his lifestyle. This person has decided to spend 6 of his 14 tokens on me time, and the other 8 on work, leading a very unbalanced and unhealthy lifestyle. Obviously, this is not conducive to growth. This person has willingly sacrificed everything else to live this way. If we were to apply this scenario to our 120-month clock, this person would be living the best of it right now, as his years will fade away only to be remembered as the good old days with his buddies, thus leaving a very limited and non-fulfilling memory. Scenario number 2 is your average hardworking person who very much spends their time as we described above. 8 hours on work, 2 on travel, 1 hour on food, 1 hour on family. This person will achieve a few major goals in their life through hard work, but will ultimately spend 10 out of the 14 tokens a day on work the remainder of their life. There's nothing wrong with this picture. It's quite normal and highly conducive to living life with a normal career. But you're not here for a normal career. Day trading as a career doesn't fit into this box. You can't succeed as a day trader with this mentality or structure. Alright, scenario number 3. The first token is immediately spent in the day on physical and mental health. They wake up and instantly enter a routine of conditioning their mind and body. This could be working out and meditation. The next 2 tokens are spent in training, then 1 token spent on studying, followed by 1 token spent on recovery. This recovery period is split between various activities like eating a balanced meal, taking a relaxing shower, or analyzing their work. The next 2 tokens is spent on conditioning to address the areas not typically focused on. 2 more tokens are now spent on work and another token spent on studying. This leaves them with 4 tokens to spend as they please. Sometimes these free tokens are used during the day and sometimes at night, as this is a highly flexible lifestyle. This person will consistently achieve landmarks within the 120 months outlined above. They have a very dynamic daily routine and will accomplish large milestones frequently in life due to a highly focused spending of time. This is the box that a professional day trader fits in. Constant development of different parts of their mind every day instead of focusing on one task in repetition. As you can see, 3 very different scenarios. But the third example shows us how their division of tokens allows for a greater amount of success, specifically in our case as day traders. We fit into this mold of having to constantly adapt our time management while maintaining a larger focus on things such as mental health, clarity, emotional health, physical health, daily changing work landscape, and various forms of training that we constantly need to do. This is the exact same as any professional athlete. Most people understand that athletes have to train nonstop, but what they don't actually see is the entire daily scope of what it takes to become successful. Now that you've heard a few of my examples, you need to develop something that makes sense for you. The simple idea is the importance of time, but it's not a basic concept to understand. Very few people grasp how important time management is. I've done my job of outlining a few examples for you. Now we need to actually focus on why we're here. We need to focus on defining the spending of our time. Earlier, you filled out your worksheet with a basic understanding of our concept, and now we'll start to craft new mechanisms to outline your future. I want you to start thinking about your life and the way time is spent in the day. I also want you to understand that time is going to become one of your biggest barriers in this career. Understanding this will help you persevere through this roadblock and move closer to creating your ultimate design. You see, although we have 14 tokens, they're not all equal. Let's start with the morning. The first token we spend presets our day for success or failure, as it sets the outline for the rest of the day to follow. This token should be used to energize us, so filling it with tasks like meditation or exercise has deep impacts on our mind frame and the things we achieve on a day-to-day basis. This immediately makes me think of a famous boxer who wakes up at 3 a.m. to drink raw eggs and exercise. The success of his day can't exist without the proper spending of tokens. We've now spent our first token in a way that allows our following 13 tokens to be preset for success. A big challenge moving forward will be using time with the same mannerism, so that every token following thereafter can succeed. You'll now need to go to your worksheet and input the first token I've given you in building your ultimate design, with the realization that every token has two sides of impact. The first side being, is it set up for success? The other side is, does it allow for success of the next token? Now, I want you to pause the video and complete your worksheet. And when you're done, give yourself 1 point on your previous worksheet towards energy. Welcome back. As you continue your journey, you'll need to constantly reevaluate the way you're spending time as a confluence between balance and success. You can't expect to underwork and gain success, just like you can't overwork and expect balance in life. Maintaining your ultimate design will be an ongoing task for your mind, so start by creating a plan that works for you with the understanding that this will need to be adjusted and refined as one of your tools in accomplishing the perfect mind frame. Are you going to balance a bigger portion of your day towards study, or are you going to fill it with more work tasks? This is the ongoing reassessment that will let you evolve with every readjustment that you make. Don't worry if you can't quite defeat this task in stride just yet. Through the Mental Analysis Evolved course, we are going to tackle this with a deeper understanding of balance in future lessons. For now, it's time to respect the grandfather clock and start deciding how you will use your tokens wisely.